Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, and JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. And of course, we start with the Boston Bruins, because we start with the Boston Bruins almost every week.
Yeah, right. Well, lately we have.
Last
month we
yeah,
have.
right.
Yeah.
So it's Stanley Cup. It's Game 5 tomorrow night. If you haven't heard, it's 2-2, and I guess the Professor, you're not surprised by the outcome currently because you had the Bruins winning in 7.
I had it as a 7-game series, and it just felt like this was just going to be a grind. This series from the beginning just felt like a grind, and it has turned into a complete grind.
Okay, Timmy. So we think the modern day NHL is about speed. The Milan Lucises of the world are obsolete. Well, that's not true in this series. They're bigger and stronger, but they're not faster, but the Blues are holding their own.
The Blues might be bringing the NHL back 10 years with this style of play, which I love this style of play. I kind of wish the Blues had a Bruins symbol on them because that's the hockey that I love. You know, I used to love it.
That's playoff hockey generally,
Well,
right? I mean,
but it was going more to speed and finesse and almost a European game, and it was definitely getting away. Like, you know, I shed a tear when we let go Lucic and Sean Thornton. I love that. This is old big bad Bruins hockey. Unfortunately, the Blues are the big bad Bruins.
But the Bruins are getting the crap kicked out of them.
They got the crap kicked out of them the other night,
Yeah.
pretty much from the start, and you could tell the Blues just played desperate hockey, and they were going to take the game to the Bruins. And I think the Bruins have been counting on getting a lot of power plays. The Blues have taken a lot of stupid penalties, and with the Bruins power play the way it is, the Bruins were sitting there saying, hey, if we can count on 5 power plays, we're going to score in 3 of them.
But in Game 2, I felt like, you know, by the third period and, of course, in overtime, that the Bruins were just tapped out.
We
They
get
had
beat
nothing
up
left.
that much. McAvoy gave, I don't know if you guys remember, but McAvoy had a rush up the ice, and he looked like he was going to do a Bobby Orr rush up the ice. And he got to around mid-ice, and he lost the puck. It was an unforced error because I think he was looking around waiting to get hit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not going to talk about myself too much here, but when I used to play hockey, I wasn't the most skilled guy in the world. You play against guys who can skate better than you, are more talented than you. You say, you know what? My only chance here is to absolutely try to cripple them on every check. Any chance I can get, I am going to try to, without getting a penalty, smash them into the board so hard that they will never want to touch the puck again.
And then when you see Pasta do, I had never seen a hockey player in the NHL. I don't know if I've ever seen him in Pee Wee go into the behind the net and turning around because he was afraid of the hit.
Yeah, they had their heads on a swivel the other night. The Bruins did.
But he literally had his head on his.
I know, and they gave up pucks, and they were avoiding. They got the snuck kicked out.
You know,
of them
one
the
thing
other
that
night.
shocked me, there was a little thing at the end there where a St. Louis guy had his arm around the neck of Krug, who was very small, and Charlie Coyle came over, and Charlie Coyle, 6'4", 230, and he looked like a midget next to the 2 Blues defensemen.
Yeah.
Charlie's a big dude,
Yeah.
and those 2 defensemen were inches above him. These are some big guys.
Yeah, but let's put it into perspective, though. The narrative changes after every game.
Oh, I know.
It sure does, right?
Every
Yeah,
game, the
absolutely,
narrative
yeah.
changes. So
Right.
coming out of the game, we wiped them out. It was the Blues were too big, too slow, too stupid. They took too many penalties. The Bruins ate them
After
alive.
Game 3.
More
Yeah.
faster and higher skill.
Right.
Game
Yeah.
4 comes along. the Blues beat the snot out of us. Now the Bruins are too small.
Exactly.
They're playing finesse hockey.
It's so hard to call,
Right.
Because you're like, oh, okay. I was even talking to my kids about it. I said, you know what? This is the way the NHL is. You can't have a Sean Thornton on your team anymore. You can't have like the big guys that are just out there to hit and get in a fight every game. They can't afford to like not have a skill guy out there on every shift. And then the Blues come out the next night and literally beat the crap out of them.
But it sounds like a great series, what you've just described. Right?
I think so. I mean, look, this
back
is,
and forth, right?
It is a great series, boy.
This is a Stanley Cup final, and this is what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have. I don't know if you have the two best teams in hockey, but look, they're the last two standing, so they should be a quality team, and it should be a quality series.
I've never seen a series though where each game, like it looks like the other team doesn't belong on the ice with.
I think that's right, Tim.
It's bizarre. Like I thought it was done after the 7-2 win.
The one thing you can, for Bruins fans, what you can take positive out of these last four games is when the Bruins have lost the two games, they've been very close and could have gone either way by hitting, puck hits off a guy's noggin, goes in the net. Whether you deserved or not to win the game, you won the game.
Well, the other common thread between the two losses is we finished the game, both of those games, with only 5 defensemen. And not 5 defensemen for 5 minutes in the third period.
Right.
We lost a defenseman in both of those games in the second period.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So
And
you're playing shorthanded, and you're running a bunch of. I mean, you're running a bunch of defensemen out there for an extra half a shift every time out.
Especially when they're getting hit like these
they're
guys
getting pounded.
But I'll tell you what I'm seeing in the shift. We are killing them in the goaltending department. Tuukka has been solid.
Wow, look at this.
Well,
My God.
I'm happy to say it. I'm happy to say it.
This is like a Brock Holt moment.
This is.
Yeah, it is a Brock Holt moment, Scotty. But, I mean,
Look, he's turning red.
It seemed like last night, like if we got like even a decent shot on net, it might go in. Or 2 nights ago,
Yes.
Like if we just get a chance, it's going to go in. Where they really have to do something special to score
That's
on Tuukka.
right.
Tuukka's not letting up softies, man. Their goals are legit.
They're getting goals off a double deflection.
Yeah,
That's the only
right.
way to get the puck
Whereas
past
like
Tuukka.
anything we're throwing at the net has a chance.
Yeah.
If we win the Stanley Cup, forget Tim Thomas forever. It's Tuukka who, when you talk about playing out of his mind, as Timmy said, right?
Yeah.
He's played out of his mind all 4 series.
Yeah, he really has. Now, I have to say the only goal that I can remember Tuukka giving up in this series that I wish he had back was the winning goal the other night. It was a hard shot, and that rebound was, as they say, juicy, and it came right out. It was a long
He's
rebound.
not letting a lot of rebounds.
But, man,
out.
you've said it weeks ago, and I give you a ton of credit. You look at his positioning, how many pucks are hitting him in the B?
Yeah.
You said that 3 weeks ago, and that's what I've been looking for. And so many pucks just hit him there, and they fall down
He's a
between his
positional goalie. He's not an acrobat. He's a positional goalie.
Yeah.
And if he has his position, if he has his angles down right, he's a hard guy to beat.
And look how
it's when he has them wrong that guy's beating him from the top of the circle with the snapshot.
And look how frustrated the Blues are trying to
rough him up.
Because they have no answers for him. All right, we're going to go to the break, and we're going to continue with the Bruins, and then we're going to go to the Boston Red Sox.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Okay, when Matt Grizzly came into the league, it was a nice story. His father's part of the Bull gang,
Yeah,
and
he's from
stuff.
Charlestown.
He's
He
from
walks across the
Charlestown.
bridge to the game.
Yeah, right. It seemed like a kind of give a local guy a nice chance, but the fact is, since he's had that concussion, that's been a huge void in the Bruins defense.
Have you ever seen as a team as good as the Bruins have as much trouble clearing the puck out of their defensive zone? And it's only become worse since Grizzly's been out. There are times where we cannot where guys have point blank opportunities to clear the puck out of our zone.
No.
And we'll shoot it into a Blues player, and the puck's back.
We'll
in our
pass
zone.
it. Yeah, like to pass or a Bruins
Well, that's
player.
a style of forecheck. When you have the defenseman pinched down on every attempted clear out, you're kind of rolling the dice. Now, there's a counter to that. You can move the winger further down the boards, okay? So now that defenseman has to come further down to disrupt that pass from the defenseman.
But also, you have a guy like Grizzly who can skate out of his own end. And that's very
yeah,
important.
But think of this: like why don't NFL teams blitz every time? Because you can hurt them if they blitz every time. So if last game they were pinching the D down on every play, and that way every pass up the boards was contested. Okay, so you move that D man a little lower down on the boards. Now you're opening up 3-on-2 opportunities. Yeah. So that worked out for the Blues in that game. But, with coaching, that can be countered.
Because the Bruins need to create space. It feels like we're in a phone booth
these
right
guys,
now.
Tim said, these defensemen are 6'5", 6'6". Let me ask you a question. Who do we want more out of? Who do we want more from in this next game? I'm just looking to look at that second line. Has been invisible with Krejci. Krejci's line's been invisible.
Krejci looked horrible last game.
Krejci hasn't done anything, right?
He's not really a physical guy, so Krejci's like the kind of guy you can hit out of a game.
And I don't think DeBrusk, DeBrusk showed great speed the other night, but he's not getting the chances. And then Backus,
Well, Backus may carry 7 defensemen, Cassidy said, which makes Backus go to the
Scotty,
bench.
getting back to Grizzly, huge. I think he's more important than Chara.
You do.
Right now. Like you said, he can skate it out of the zone. Him and Krug and McAvoy are all 3 great skaters. They can get it out of the zone.
And that's what we need.
And you need fresh legs out there to do that. And I think Grizzly, to me, is more important than Chara. The national media is playing Chara, blah, blah, blah. I think Grizzly is the guy.
Look, we talked about before the series started that the first line, at the very least, would win us 1 game of the series. And I guess we can say that.
Oh, they did.
That
they
the game
well
3
first,
was the 7-2 game.
For sure.
Was the first line. Okay, kids, we need the first line to win us at least another game in this series.
Absolutely.
To win the cup.
I'll tell you, Marchand played as horrible a game as I've ever seen in that last game. He was just
floating around
and not helping, hurting. A lot of critical turnovers in the neutral zone that instantly turn into offense for the other team.
Remember, Timmy, Brad Marchand is not a big guy, and he's getting the crap kicked
out
of him.
He's
So
not.
I just think it's affecting them.
No, but Marchand's thick, though. He's got those thick legs. He's got the thick butt. You know what I mean? So from a physical standpoint, his decision-making in the neutral zone is it can be wacky sometimes. He goes on the wrong side of the puck sometimes. When you're trying to get the puck away from the other team, you're supposed to be on your goalie's side of the puck. And he's coming at them from the other side. So if you lose it, it's just a clear path into the zone.
I was the lovely and talented Adrian watched one period, and she says, it seems like the Blues have the power play the whole period. It sometimes does feel like that.
That was
you
wicked.
spend the whole time in the Bruins defensive zone.
It's when they get going and they just swarm us, and it just feels like you just need a penalty.
But a little bit of that is this new style of play, okay? The way they teach it now, the other team is not going to score from the boards. They're not going to score from the corner. They're probably not going to score from the point. So the new style of play now is you pack 5 guys in the middle and you try to block shots. You try to put 2 or 3 guys between the puck and the goal.
Yeah.
That way, any shot, so you almost pack it in and you wait for a turnover in your opportunity. They don't attack the puck like they used to back in our day. And you go, why don't the Bruins get the puck? Geez, they're just letting them pass it around. Well,
they're all packed in.
They're putting 3 guys between the puck and the net to block the shot.
All right, so do we feel confident still, Russ? Do you like your prediction?
Look, I think
7 games?
I think we'll win this game at home, and it'll be a contested game 6, and probably come back to the Garden for game 7.
I think we win, and it's going to be because of Tuca.
Look, I think
Timmy's got a Tuca crush.
I know.
Well,
right,
he's on a
exactly.
roll,
Timmy's
man.
got a Tuca
He's
crush.
playing free pass on this?
I wish I had a full crush on him all
right,
year.
okay,
You know,
right,
if he's playing well, I'll say he's playing well. If he's not
All
playing
right,
well,
okay. He's had a few weeks where he's consistently said nice things about Tuca.
Yes, he's earned it.
Look,
Like-
I know I'm not saying anything special here. Whoever wins tomorrow wins the series. So I think that's the deciding
Game 5.
Game 5 is the deciding game. All right, we go to the Boston Red Sox, 31-29, 7.5 games out of first place, and they're tied with Texas right now for the second wild card. So I've seen in my crystal ball, and if the Bruins win the Stanley Cup, great things are just continuing to happen for Boston sports. What's going to happen is Tampa's going to win the division. The Red Sox are going to play the Yankees. Yankees are going to have a totally better record than the Red Sox.
We're going to knock them out.
1 game series,
How great would
wild
that be?
card. Chris Sale has like 16 strikeouts, and we
How
knock
great
him
would
out.
That'd be beautiful.
How fun would that be? Then just
nothing
continuing
better
the
than
ride.
Nothing better than that.
The country must be sick of us.
They
they
are
sure
sick.
are.
But it looks like it's the wild card. We're not coming back from a 7.5 game deficit with two teams
you
in front
said
of
it
us.
last week. I don't know if you said it on the show or to me at a game. There's so many crappy teams in the American League that you're not going to get the Yankees losing 7 or 8 out of 10 games.
No. And
that's
you're
what
lucky if they'll
need.
lose the series.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to come
How does
back.
our
the same
sch-
thing that
how does
happened
our-
last year with us.
How does our schedule look for the next month? Is it a soft schedule for the Red Sox?
Look, for the Red Sox,
Every schedule's soft in the American League.
yeah,
I
when
know.
you're playing
Right?
19 games against Baltimore, that's
I
an
know.
extraordinary amount against one really crappy team.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so boys, when we go to the break, we'll continue with the Boston Red Sox, and we may even start talking about the Boston Celtics.
It gives me a headache to
These
talk
hot
about
ashes
this.
are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Okay, so
Leave it.
we had this conversation. We didn't have an argument. I think that Timmy and I and Uncle Joe were in agreement that Mookie Betts should have taken, if he had a $300 million offer on the table. That wasn't confirmed, but if he did, the man should have taken it. So I ask you, and one man on the panel, the professor, said, no, that deal's going to be on the table no matter what. Well, the Mookie Betts that we're seeing, Russ, is not the 2018 one, it's the 2017 one, and that's a very average ball player.
Well, not average, but nowhere near as good as he was last year. And there's still a long way to go this year. And I would bet on Mookie's numbers getting a lot better. I don't care. Even if Mookie posts a mediocre year, he's still going to get offered more than he got offered this year.
276, 9 home runs, 27 RBIs. Timmy, he has no home runs against left-handed pitching the whole year.
Regardless, I didn't understand the dynamics of these contracts until the professor opened my eyes. He is the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay? So he might not get paid on his numbers. He makes the Red Sox a more marketable team, and that's why he's going to get the money.
All right. Well, you guys think that you can just throw out these contracts in baseball, but it hurts. The Major League Baseball draft was yesterday, and the Red Sox had to move down 10 spots every draft. And I'm going to mention one name, Dustin Pedroia. Maybe you know him.
Can we trade him?
Dustin Pedroia, look, he had a very
I
great
loved him.
career.
I
Great
loved
career.
him.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to say that anything about Dustin Pedroia, but the last 5 years of his deal, the last 3 years that he's been under contract, including this year, and the 2 years we're going to be cursing his name out in 20 and 21, will have brought down the Red Sox a lot as far as acquiring players. Would you agree?
Yeah, though, if they don't want to go over that luxury tax, the contracts like Sandoval, Ramirez, Pedroia, those are really bad contracts that cost the Red Sox their ability to get better bench players or better relief pitchers.
And the point
Absolutely.
with Mookie, he's not a lot bigger than Pedroia, right? And these smallish frame guys, they don't last like the
They
Mike
don't.
Trouts
Let
of
me
the
make
world.
one point. Let me push back on one point. There's a huge difference between playing second base and playing the outfield in terms of the beating that you get.
Oh,
it is not a
absolutely.
coincidence that Pedroia's knee he got knocked out with his knee when Machado took him out at second base.
Yeah, and
that was the end.
There's no question. Yeah, absolutely.
Different. It's
So
a
Machado
different
ended his career.
Yes, and by the way, Machado's never paid the price for that. Never got hit by a pitch.
Do we play the Padres this year?
I hope so, but yeah, we do.
But yeah, look, Jerry Remy had a similar injury that ended
these
his
guys
career
get
too.
taken out.
And he's a very. They
But do you
similar
think
size.
his physical stature would come
I
into
don't
play
s-
when
Mookie
you're
hasn't
looking?
had a whiff of an injury concern since he's been with the Red Sox?
No, you're both right. But absolutely, there's a concern when you're talking about a 10-year
I mean,
contract.
Mike Trout's a horse. The guy's a freaking, like if you could
Yeah.
sculpt a baseball player, like you'd get Mike Trout at the end. Mookie's a slight guy.
Yeah, look, the Red Sox are going to have to make that decision. But the last thing they want is the Yankees to get him. And if he's
they're-
up in the market, the Yankees or the Dodgers are going
I'm
to pick him
not
up.
saying they're going to sign him. What I am saying is they're going to offer him a market-corrected contract, right?
Right.
They're going to offer him the big money.
Okay, so of course, we take what we say here as fans very seriously. And sometimes what we say and then the general manager of the team listens to is kind of a disaster. And this Stephen Pierce.
Disaster.
And Stephen Pierce signing, because, of course, we were all
We
very
loved
happy
it, man.
with
We loved it.
Yeah,
I
we
loved it.
We loved
MVP.
You got to sign Pierce. So they signed
Actually,
Pierce.
I'm going to give you credit on something. You snuffed out that first base could be a problem.
Yeah.
First base hasn't
You
been a problem
did.
because Moreland.
Yeah.
Moreland's more than covered up. He's been terrific. But you weren't particularly happy with the Pierce-Moreland combination.
No, because you just compare them against these big time teams, and they first base, third base, you get huge production out of these
And
positions.
chances are one of them wasn't going to pan out.
Right.
Right.
But no one imagined Pierce just dropping off the map like he has
he
dropped
looks
off.
done.
And their baseball card, the back of their baseball card says average player.
Well,
And that's-
there's a reason why he's been on 8 teams.
Yeah, right. So they're average players, and look, both of them right now on the disabled list, and that's not going to help at all.
Well, yeah, Moreland carried us for the first, 25%
Oh,
of the year.
absolutely.
Thank God for Moreland. But yeah, he's on the injured list, and you have Michael Chavis playing first base now. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. We talk about the bullpen, and we'll mention it in a little bit. But, Alex Cora said it's really been the offense, Timmy, that hasn't been consistent the way it should be that's cost us a lot of games.
I listen to a lot of the games on the radio, and when I hear a 2-run lead in the 8th and Joe Schmo's coming in, I almost go, oh, there goes the lead. That's just how I feel. Like it used to be, this guy in the 8th, and then
But we haven't had
what do you
clutch
call it in
hitting
the
rest.
9th?
It hasn't
No,
been-
but
we
I'm just
haven't-
telling my perception.
Yeah, but we haven't hit
it's
well
a-
in the runners with scoring
But it's
position.
a crapshoot. It feels like a crapshoot with this bullpen. I have no faith.
I know, but
you
we're
know
talking
what
about the offense right now.
Okay,
It's
I
the
know.
runners
Okay,
in
sorry.
scoring position.
The one
that
thing that's-
statistic has been very glaring.
Yeah, the one thing that's changed, and I've noticed, and it does relate to Timmy's point, is last year we used to seem to tack on runs. So we'd go up 1 early, and then we'd be up 4.
Oh, in the
Or
8th
we'd go
inning,
up
we
2 in the
constantly
7th,
did
and then
that.
all of a sudden you turn around when we're up by 5.
We had a
right?
ton of 6th, 7th, 8th run innings
right.
last
And
It was
so
a
tons
dream
of them.
season.
Tons
it
of
was
them.
Attacking runs on,
Always.
and you'd win games easily. This year, it just seems like we'll get a 1-run lead in the 3rd, and it's still a 1-run lead in the 7th, and that exposes you to a bad bullpen.
Yeah.
Or an
Yeah.
inconsistent bullpen. And I just don't see us adding on. And last year, you can remember, Coro kept talking about, we add on. We're not adding on.
Hey, look, we understand that Andrew Benintendi is a guy who's a streaky hitter, right? He's going to be on and on. But there hasn't been any streaks
rough.
this year. Look, they took him out of the leadoff spot, but he's been a huge disappointment
Yes.
the whole season.
He's been a disappointment.
And that shocks me because his swing is gorgeous. It's a
Oh, my God,
beautiful
absolutely.
swing.
He
You
has
know what I
natural
mean?
ability.
And I say, how does a guy with a swing like a gift from God, that swing,
Yeah.
not hit better than he's hitting?
And there were rumors, Timmy, that the Red Sox were interested in signing him long term already. They obviously pumped the
Again,
brakes
he's
on that.
one streak from getting back to normal, but it could be that the pitchers are also figuring him out a little bit, and he's got to adjust.
All right, boys. In the break, we'll go to the Boston Celtics, and we'll
Do we have to?
little touch of the Patriots, a little mini camp.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to go to the Boston Celtics. First of all, you watched the NBA Finals. Have you guys watched it?
I've watched every minute of it.
It's been two
Compelling.
games have been very exciting.
Compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kawhi, and you realize when you have a top 5 player in the league on your team, anything's possible.
Yeah. Look, I called that wrong. I didn't realize because
all
he was in
called it
San
wrong.
Antonio
We all
and
called
because
it
he was
wrong.
hurt last year and he was kind of yapping a little bit. I didn't think Kawhi was this good, but damn, I would have given them a lot for him.
Oh yeah, to have this opportunity. Now he may leave, right? So this looks great now, but if Toronto loses and Kawhi leaves, they'll be standing around saying, well, that wasn't that much. I
You
mean,
know
it
what's
was
funny?
fun- it
You
was a
go,
fun
what's the
ride,
best
but-
I
scenario?
don't know, but I felt like they'd still be happy because they got somewhere that they'd
I
never gone
guess, but
before.
They still didn't win.
So
Yeah.
you go, what's the best scenario? If they lose, he goes, oh, I don't want to be with these losers, I'm leaving. Or if he wins, he goes, oh, I won one, I'm going to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah,
So
I think he's gone.
Did you hear some
Yeah, you
guy
think he's
offered to
gone?
give him, some developer there offered him a free multi-million-dollar penthouse if he
Is that
stays.
right?
Oh, yeah.
You got
Don't
an
give it-
entire,
don't
but
give
you
it
have an
to the
entire
orphans.
country.
Don't
Yeah,
give it.
right.
Don't give it to the orphans
Right.
and the hungry
Give
children.
it to a
Give it to the
multi-millionaire.
guy
Yeah,
making
right.
They
$40
need
million a
that,
year,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, look, Toronto's a beautiful city. You know, he may enjoy it and stuff.
Yeah.
They still
he's
have
not.
that thing called winter.
All right, we'll just throw the rumor he could come to the Celtics.
No,
I'm sure at
there's-
some point.
I doubt it.
All right, so Danny speaks and we listen. First of all, I'm glad that he's feeling better and that he's going to stay
like
on
Danny.
with the team. Yeah, of course. And the hints in the press conference today that maybe he's not so happy with Grandpa Gordon Hayward either. That Grandpa's got 5 or 6 trainers, coaches working with him every day, which is kind of bizarre. But the whole implication was, Russ, that he was out of shape last season.
Well, but I can't really blame him for being. He couldn't train off season to get into basketball shape. He was still rehabbing from these injuries. So you hear all these guys who had catastrophic injuries saying in their first off season after coming back is, now I can get back to actually training my body to play basketball and getting into shape. But if he starts off badly, by the way, all bets are off. If he starts off badly this year, I'm going to be as on him as you've been.
Yeah.
He looked like my body out there playing basketball.
He looked
But you don't think he looked disinterested to me?
he looked round and
I think-
soft.
I don't
you know?
think
He didn't look
disinterested.
like
I just think
he didn't look like a
unconfident.
chiseled athlete.
I don't think
know?
you can distinguish between disinterested and lack of confidence. I just don't think he was aggressive.
But
period.
I think a year. Let's see what we get next year. I mean,
Well,
I don't
this
know,
is
he's got
it. All right, yeah, look, he gets no more love.
you.
Would you agree?
I'm
No, he no
100%
more.
with you.
He had an asterisk next to him this year.
And by the way,
Okay,
if
let's
I
see.
could trade him for Kevin Durant or
yeah, right,
Mike
yeah.
Conley or no, seriously, if Kyrie leaves and you could swap Hayward for Conley, which is contract for contract, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk a lot about the Celtics. So I'm going to go. Let's just go to the Patriots because that's just fun.
Yeah.
Patriots started mini camp, and Brookline's own Tom Brady drove down Route 95 and actually showed up.
Yeah, I'm sure. He was probably thinking of taking the private plane since it was so far away.
Did Brookline allow him a heliport in the backyard?
Yeah.
Is that on the
just glad he's
selectmen's
there.
meeting agenda?
All right, so I said this name, and I was so proud of myself, and now I don't have to say it anymore again. Austin Safarian Jenkins.
You got it right.
Was
It's not
cut.
that hard.
Was
Scott.
cut.
You're from Methuen, though, so it could be difficult.
So Austin Safarian Jenkins and Greg Schiano, we hardly knew you.
Yep, didn't last long.
Didn't last long, right?
we were just saying. I mean, what went wrong in 3 days with Austin Safari?
I think you had it right. He
Yeah, right.
probably might have showed up out of. I mean, could have been a chemical dependency thing, but he could have showed up out of shape, and the Patriots said, "Go get yourself
You
in
know,
a shape,
you're not
not on
serious
our time."
about this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See you later.
All right, guys.
That's not how
What
we roll here. You know. That's
what
right.
one player that you're most excited to see in exhibition play?
Oh, it's got to be N'Keal Harry. It's got to be the big wide receiver who seems to be making quite a name for himself early down in camp.
Right, but the problem
From an excitement standpoint, I would agree. But from overall player, Isaiah Wynn for me. I want to see what this kid.
If he can protect
Is he legit? You know.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, you're going to be studying the offensive
Me
line.
and Uncle Joe, sitting on his couch,
But
going over the film.
The problem is with it, when you're trying to develop a wide receiver and exhibition players, the Brian Hoyers, the Danny Efflings, or
Yeah, right.
and
Jarrett Stidham.
and
Jarrett
Stidham.
Stidham.
Actually, that's the guy I'm most
that'll be fun.
looking at. It's the quarterback.
It'll be
right?
fun because you just want your Jimmy G. You just want another Jimmy
I need
G,
another
don't you?
Jimmy
Jimmy
G,
G come back one game, out for another 2 years.
Yeah, right. Oh, I know. That's a great part of this season is we got the Jimmy G watch.
We
hopefully.
do have the Jimmy. Well, unless he gets hurt again.
Because actually, in for our 4 sports, because we've been so successful, we don't have many players that used to be on our team that go to other teams that we even care about or monitor.
Do you
right?
understand that out of the last 20 games that Jimmy G could have started, he played in a grand total of 1.5 of them, or was it 2.5?
I know he's a little fragile.
You think so?
And Tom Brady.
So Jimmy G is basically Gordon Hayward.
Wait, I'm not going to miss this.
I know
I'm
you're
not going
right.
to miss this
You gotta call him
opportunity.
Grandpa Jimmy G?
Grandpa-
I am not going to
Yeah,
miss
that's
this
a good name.
opportunity
Jimmy.
Yeah.
to just bash Scotty right now. How many games Tom Brady has played in the last 3 years? that he's been able, that he's been qualified for?
I
And how many
Tuca.
games did Jimmy G play?
Freaking Tuca!
You want
Nobody
to
hates
get rid of
Tuca more than you.
I love
Oh
Tuca.
my,
My favorite.
God.
This is a flip-flop of epic proportion.
Adrian's never given me a
gonna run-
blushing
Hey,
face like
he's
he
playing
gave it to
great.
Tuca.
He's gonna
I'm
run
looking
for.
at him. He's blushing.
He's gonna run for office with that kind of
He's-
flip-flopping.
He's
Wait, I have to do- I
JP's
have to
first
do my
son.
my
He's
political
also
hand.
JP's biggest fraud. All right, that's our
we
show
need
for
to
tonight.
go.
Want to thank everyone. I want to thank the boys.
Tuca,
Wanna
I
thank
love you.
everyone behind the scenes, of course. The Glue, William the Intern.
I am.
Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in on Friday night live from the Greatest Bar at 9 o'clock on Dirty Water TV for the Grandstanders Live. My name is Scott Kerman. I'm your host. Have a great and happy night.
Here comes the circus.